Joining me is the panel, Evelyn Ray, farmer, former policewoman, Sky News regular, and James Macpherson from the late debate here on Sky News. James, Adam Bandt leaving on that nasty note. Your reaction?
Well, Andrew, who would have imagined the demise of the leader of the Greens would be a sign that the earth is healing? But there were so many paradoxes or ironies in what Adam Bandt said today. I mean, he's been the most divisive figure in Australian politics over the past decade, and yet he leaves politics as a great unifier because he's managed to bring both the Liberal Party and the Labor Party together to rejoice in his exit. The other great irony, of course, was he blamed preferences for losing his seat, forgetting, of course, it was preferences that got him his seat back in 2010. As for his comments about Peter Dutton, I mean, are we really that surprised? The only surprise is that he didn't blame the Jews for his loss or suggest that somehow maybe Mossad had infiltrated the Australian Electoral Commission and that was the reason that he lost. He said he was proud of what he'd done for the Greens. Well, he reduced them from 4 seats to just 1 in the lower house. I'm not sure how he would be proud of that. And he turned a once pro-environmental party into a Marxist hotbed of hatred for this nation. He will not be missed at all. Well, hang on a second, Andrew. If Maureen Faruqi is appointed the new leader of the Greens, maybe Adam Bandt will be missed. But other than that, he won't be missed at all.
Stop going down. That's giving me nightmares. Evelyn, have you got a tear for poor Adam Bandt?
Only tears of joy, Andrew. Tears of pure joy. Bottle it up and let's keep it on the shelf and remind ourselves of this happy, joyous moment for Australia. We're being cleansed of the Marxist greenie. But look, it was such a pathetic attempt for him to save face, wasn't it, in that interview? I mean, he on one hand said that, you know, the reason that he lost to a Labor candidate was Peter Dutton's fault because, you know, the people hate Peter Dutton more than they like the Greens. I mean, that's some kind of mental gymnastics to try and get around that. But, you know, I think that it really does say something when, you know, the leader of the Greens party is trying to scramble. I mean, he can pull something out of a hat and come up with anything. So I think he was a bit surprised by the result. But it was probably the only silver lining out of this election, sadly. But look, I think that, you know, for him to blame Dutton is just typical of the Greens. They like to blame everything on everybody else and have absolutely zero personal responsibility. But, you know, I hope that Dutton can take what he says on board and perhaps go, you know what, I'm glad that I'm distanced myself from him and he can blame me. And hopefully the Liberal Party can learn from all this and maybe next election not perhaps do Labor light and maybe we will have a bit more of a chance and squash the Greens out to 0 seats and put a bit more Liberal seats in.
James, look, I know I shouldn't be surprised in one sense, and yet, you know, I was struck all over again by this final appeal by Bandt to the journalists there.
We're in a climate crisis. We're in a climate crisis. I really want the media to stop reporting on climate as a political issue and start thinking about it as if our country was being invaded. Like you should treat the climate crisis as if there is a war on.
James, I was listening to that, I thought, my God, he really does believe this apocalyptic nonsense. And the women behind him, one grinning though, I didn't quite understand why she thought it was all the good news. I don't know. What did you make of that?
I'm trying to work out how we're being invaded by a naturally occurring gas, what CO2 is invading the country. Andrew Bandt really does believe this. And of course, he also believes that only he and people like him can save the planet, which explains why they have special licence the rest of us do not have. Remember, Adam Bandt spent, was it $15,000 on a private jet flying from the ACT to Brisbane? How do you explain that when he's claiming climate crisis? Well, it makes sense if you understand he believes, 1, there is a climate crisis, 2, he's the one who can save us from it, and therefore he's entitled to do things the rest of us are not. That's pretty much his worldview.
Evelyn, Jacinta Price quitting the Nationals Party today. They gave her a chance, that demanded an extra seat in the shadow cabinet for her from the Liberals, all that kind of stuff. Is it well, it is a betrayal of the Nationals. Does that outweigh the fact that it might be great news for the Liberals? How do you see that balance?
Well, here's the thing. Peter Dutton didn't win the referendum to the voice of Parliament. Jacinta did. She was the coalition's greatest weapon during that entire debate. And for some reason, we hardly saw her during Dutton's campaign. And when we did, it was almost like we were embarrassed about it. Like, oh, you know, some people nearly had a stroke because dare she say, let's make Australia great again. You know, I think at the moment, the Liberal Party is virtually on life support. They are, and they need all the help they can get. Perhaps Jacinta is the defibrillator. Perhaps she's going to come in and jolt them, you know, into a place of life where they actually belong. You know, I sadly think that the Liberal Party are going the way that the UK Conservative Party are going. And if life's going to get tougher under Labor, which I dare say it will, people are going to be so desperate for an alternative. And, you know, maybe Australia will be ripe for what akin is to the Reform UK Party. And at the moment, that particular party in the UK is absolutely smashing the Conservative Party. So if Jacinta can't bring the Liberal Party to life, I dare say that's where we're headed. So I hope she can. I hope she can come in and do some good, because at the moment, she's probably all they've got.
Well, I'm sure she didn't do this without some sort of offer of something good from one of the main leadership contenders in the Liberals, either Angus Taylor or Susan Lee. I suspect Angus Taylor would have made an approach. I don't know about Susan Lee. I'm told that Susan Lee wasn't too happy, thinking that this was going to be stacking the deck against her, a Conservative coming in. Although, boy, if she could sure use Jacinta Price on her team. Where do you see all this happening, James? I mean, it has caused bad blood with the Nationals.
Yeah, well, David Littleproud, the leader of the Nationals himself, said that the Liberal Party provides opportunities for Jacinta Price's ambition that the Nationals do not. I think that's true, but a little unfair and missing the bigger picture. The Liberal Party provides opportunities for Australia with Jacinta Price there that the Nationals do not. And so I think that everybody all around agrees it's disappointing for the National Party, but it's better for Jacinta Price. But more importantly, it's better for the country if she's in the Liberal Party, because she can fulfil her true, not ambition, but potential. And I think we'd all be beneficiaries of that.
Except it was the Liberal Party that seemed to gag her this year. I mean, I found it incredible. That said, it must be still noted that the first time that she was allowed to speak with, basically, with Peter Dutton, she did put a foot in it a little by saying, make Australia great again, which shouldn't be an issue, but it was treated as an issue, and it did hurt the Liberals midway through the campaign. You know, you too Trump-like, but I mean, she's only a first-term senator.
Anything
so
but Trump-like. That's why they lost.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's more that they didn't seem their own man. They've seen some were taking dictation from Trump, but Jacinta Price certainly is her own woman. Thank you so much to you both for that. Evelyn Ray and James Macpherson, really appreciate it.